Hey you, this is Jasim from Codeband, and in this video we are going to be automating WhatsApp. So this was one of the most anticipated automation throughout this entire Python automation series. Honestly, a lot of people asked me to do this stuff, and we are on it from this video. Now I have planned to do 3 videos on this particular WhatsApp automation. I mean, if I do those things in a single video, it would be much larger in size as well as duration. So that's why I have split it up into 3. Now this video is the basic version, and in this one we'll be actually doing the basic automation. Say for example, we'll give a bunch of group names and a message, and the script will automatically send that message to those groups mentioned. And this is the idea of this video, and in the next video we'll be actually implementing the attachments. Say for example, you want to send an image along with the content to these groups. That's what we'll discuss in the next video. And in the third video we'll be discussing about this QR code issue. So how to solve that QR code issue. I mean, you should scan that QR code every time when you run the script. So that's kind of not a good approach. So that's why in that video, in the third video, I will fix that issue so that only at the first time we need to scan the QR code, and elsewhere we don't want to, it will automatically log you into that account. So that's the third video. Now this is all about the WhatsApp automation idea, and if you are very brand new to this video, I mean, this is a part of Python automation series, so I would highly recommend you to watch those previous videos, at least the first 3 or 4 videos, because therein I talk about the introduction and most importantly the installation parts as well. So just go and watch that. The link will be in the description section to the whole playlist, so that you can just watch that and come back in here. And if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please don't forget to subscribe my channel and click the bell icon near to it. So without any further, let's jump right into it. In order to demonstrate, I have created 3 new groups in my WhatsApp. As you can see, test group 1, test 2, and test. Now you can also see some emojis here. That's because some people might have those emojis in their group names, and they'll have some doubts like whether it will cause some errors in the code base and so on. So that's why I have put those emojis in these 2 groups. So yeah, with that being said, let's jump into the code base. So back into the VS Code, you can see the boilerplate here. Now if you're not familiar with these steps, then you might not have watched those previous videos. So again, the links will be in the description section, the link to the whole playlist. So just watch that, at least the first 3, and come back in here so that you'll get the idea of what exactly these steps are. Okay, then as usual we have that main.py, and we have that config.py file. Now first of all, what I'll do is I'll create some new files inside the src folder. So the first file is groups.txt, which is nothing but a file that holds the group names. So in our case it will be these 3 groups, the test group 1, test 2, and test. So I'll just quickly grab the name from here. So test group 1. Now every new group stands in a new line. So first one in the first line, and second in the second, and so on. So that's okay. Now I'll quickly take the other 2 groups as well. So that's okay. Now the last group, the test itself. So I'll quickly grab that, and yeah, that's it. We're okay with the groups. Now we also need one more file, and that's, as you guessed, it is message.txt, the message that you want to send to these groups. So for instance, I'll just stick with hi. Maybe I'll also give this emoji here, because you should also we should also check if there is some errors if we have that sort of emoji in the message as well. So that's okay. We have groups and we have that message, and we are good to go with our code. So the first thing, as always, browser.get, and the URL here is this one, this web.whatsapp.com. But before that, what I can do is I'll just quickly grab that groups and message into our main.py, into the code base. So for that, I need to open that file. So first one, I'll open the groups. So with open, and the file name is groups.txt, and the mode we want to open it is R, which stands for reading, and we just want to read those groups. That's why it is R here. Now the keyword argument encoding is very important here, because we do have that sort of emojis in our group name. So this would be a very good approach, otherwise it will give you some errors as well. So encoding is set to be UDF8, and we'll just give an arbitrary name of file, or just F, just like that. And now what I want to do is I'll just fetch all those groups. So I'll say groups, a variable is equal to I'll just say like that f.readLines. We have some method called readLines, which will give you line by line, which will read that file line by line and give you a list of groups. So let me quickly print these groups out so that you can see what exactly it'll give you. I'll just comment these steps out. And now if I run the code, so Python main.py, I mean it's Python 3, as I'm a Mac user, I'm using the virtual environment for now. So you can see that we got 3 outputs: test group 1, 2, but there is something called a /n at the end, which is not what we want, right? Which we don't want. So we need to get rid of that /n. So there is a method called a strip, which will remove those unwanted spaces and new lines and stuff like that. So what I'll do is I'll use list comprehension. Now if you're not very familiar with Python, then this list comprehension will be new to you. So I'll just quickly explain what it is after doing that step. So I'll just say like group.strip and for group in f.readLine. So what this will do is, groups is a list, so we use that square brackets. Then what I'll do is just ignore this line, this stuff here, and start from this one for group in f.readLine. So f.readLines will give you a list, something like this one, the test group 1 and this stuff here, and we are looping through that. So it'll first take test group and test 2 and test and so on. So we are looping through that, and for each of the instance run this code here. So group.strip, what it'll do is first it will take test group 1 and the /n. Now the strip method, what it'll do is it'll get rid of that /n from there. That's it, and it'll give that output is being stored inside this list. Okay, so that's how the list comprehension works. Now I'll save that stuff there. And if I run the code again, what do you know, we got that without that /n, so it's totally working. Now we also need to quickly read the message as well. So it's a quick challenge for you. Just read. It's pretty much simple as this one, but it's more simpler than fetching the groups, because we don't have that new line and stuff like that. So a quick challenge, give it a try. So in my case, what I'll do is with open, again, the name of the file, msg.txt, we want to read that, and also we'll put that encoding to be UDF8 to be on the safer side as file F. So then I'll just say like msg is equal to f.read, just like that. We just need f.read, so that it'll read that stuff, and the output will be in the msg. So let me quickly cross check whether it works. msg, save and run, and what do you know, we got that stuff there. So it's totally working fine. Now we have read those groups and messages. Now what we want to do is, I'll just uncomment these steps here, and now we already gone to the web.whatsapp.com. Now we need to send that message, right? Send the message to all the groups here which we have fetched. So first of all, I'll loop through that for group in groups. We are looping through those groups. We have 3 groups at present, as you can see in this line. And now we need to, now I'll quickly show you the strategy that we are gonna be implementing. So I'll quickly run python -i main.py, and before that I'll save that, and yeah, it's Python, it's not Python, it's Python 3 there. So Python 3, it's like no, there is some errors, line number 17. Yeah, we just opened that for loop, and inside that there is nothing. So I'll just quickly say pass, and then we'll run the code exit and this one. So it open browser web.whatsapp.com. Now the first thing we have to do is just scan the QR code. So I've already told you we'll fix this one in the 3rd video, but since until then we have to scan this all the time when we run the script. So I'll quickly scan this stuff and show you what exactly we are going to be implementing. So just a matter of seconds, I'll quickly do that, and yeah, we are into the account. Now the problem with this one is we just gone to the web.whatsapp.com. now we need to scan that QR code, right? So we don't know exactly how much time it will take to actually load this page. So to complete the entire process of scanning the QR code and stuff like that, we don't know how much time it will take. So what I exactly meant to convey is that these codes will run after going into that home page itself. I mean, before we actually see this page, this is a page that we want to work, we'll see that QR code scanning page, right? So inside, while we are on that QR code scanning page, all the code below will run. So we'll not find those things. I mean, we need to provide a sleep of some seconds so that only we can reach this page, right? So that's an issue, right? So we don't know actually how it takes. Maybe we were using time.sleep, so we can provide 30 seconds of sleep there to be explicit. So if I say like that, and if I run the code and the process of scanning, so I'll quickly show you what I meant by that. I'll exit out of the console and I'll run the code again. So it opened that stuff here. Now from here what I'll do is it will wait for 30 seconds. So we have at most 30 seconds to complete the entire process of scanning the QR code and loading that page, right? Loading this page here. So it's kind of nasty. I mean, even if we complete this process within 10 seconds, we have to wait additionally for 20 seconds, right? Because the whole time is 30 seconds. Now if it was like 5 seconds, then it would be much shorter, right? If we just go into that page with 10 seconds, then our code would fail. The below code will run and it will fail. So we need to find a feasible solution for this stuff in order to wait until the page is loaded. I mean, we just want to wait until this page is loaded. Only just a precise time, not extra, not below that. Okay, so that's what we have to implement. So this time.sleep would not suffice that, and therein a new concept will come into play, and is known as weights. So Selenium weights, as you can see. I'll put the link in the description section. You can read that stuff because it's kind of a good feature that I love, and we'll implement this one in a moment. So what this one will do is it will quickly search for, it will check whether this element is present, whether anything here will be present until the seconds that we pass. Now you'll get to know what I meant by that when we actually starts to code. So I'll get rid of those steps and I'll use that, then you'll get to know what exactly is meant by that weights there. So the strategy we are using is we are looping through that groups, and we need to find each of the groups. So what we'll do is we'll quickly search that group here. We're not actually fetching that from the list at the first glance, because in my case there are only 3 groups which is positioned at the top. In your case there will be a lot of groups, private groups, messages, and lot of things here. So these groups might not be at the top, it might be at the bottom of your the entire sheet here, so it would be hard to find that from the bottom. So we need to make that make sure that it comes at the top before we fetch that stuff. So for that, the best example is to actually search for a group. So I'll just quickly copy this one, and if I click on this one and search, then what do you know, it comes, it popped up at the top, right? Test group 1. So in the similar way, we'll first search for the group, and if it is there, then it will be at the top here, just like this one, and then we'll click that and we'll send the message. That's the idea we are gonna be implementing. So the first thing we need to implement is clicking the search and sending those keys into the search button, right? So for that, what I can do is I'll just say inspect here as usual, and we'll go to the selector, and we'll go to this stuff here, the search here, and you can see that it's a division with a class of something, and we have some other properties as well. This is what it is being rendered here. So we know a lot of ways to select this, such as using CSS selector or using some other stuffs, but what I'll do is I'll quickly show you a new way of fetching, that is by using xpath. So xpath is something like fetching that element by position, so how it is positioned in the DOM and stuff like that. So we'll get to know once we actually do that. So what I can do is for group in groups, then what I'll do is I'll just say search box is equal to now this time browser dot find, now this time it is not by class name but xpath, find element by xpath. Now in order to get that xpath, we have a couple of options. I'll show you one by one. So first thing, I'll do it manually, so a double slash double forward slash, then the tag name. So here the tag name is division, so it's div. And now we will do something like in the square bracket. We don't want to just target the div, we want to target a div that has some attributes being set. So in this case, we have that content editable is equal to true and data tab is equal to 3. All these steps we have. So we'll just quickly copy this content editable is equal to true from there, and then into the code base we'll do that square brackets, and then we'll say at, we are targeting something, the attribute, and just paste that in there. So at content editable is equal to true, and again we also need that data tab. So again a square bracket, and we're targeting, so at the rate, and we'll just copy this data tab is equal to 3 there, just like this. So we are targeting a division that has these two properties being set. So this is the kind of syntax of xpath, right? So this is one way of doing it. Now you'd also look into other way, that is just right click on this one, copy, then there is something called copy xpath. So you can just copy that, and you can just paste that in here. So you can see it's a different xpath, although because it's based upon the position of that element, although it might work, you can just check whether it did work instead of this one. You can have a check. In most of the cases it do work, but this is more of a good approach that I would suggest, because this one is more of explicit than the position itself, and this will be unique as well. So in most of the cases it will be unique. So yeah, that's it. Now we have fetched the search box there. Now what we are going to be doing is we'll just say search box dot send keys, just like that. Send keys, we need to send that group name, right? We are going to be searching that group. So search input dot send keys group. Now what I'm doing is I'll quickly run this and show you the kind of errors that we are going to be facing. So open that stuff. Let me quickly scan this QR code. So yeah, I have scanned that QR code, and back into here it says no such element exception. Now that's because the kind of flow is it'll say browser.get, so it'll go to that site and it'll read all these steps. Now it'll go to this one and it'll just check if this exists and otherwise, since this one is not existing, it gives me that error. Now all these things happens when at the time we are about to scan that QR code. We have that delay, right? We have that sort of delay in scanning that QR code. By the time every code will be run, and you'll not find this one because this page is not loaded yet. That's why this page was not loaded, and it'll give you that error. So that's where that this one, the waits come into play. So I need to make sure that only when that element is loaded, only when the search box is loaded, I have to fetch. Otherwise, just keep on checking whether the search box is there or not. Just keep on checking at every instance. So what I meant by that is I'll go to this waits here once again, and I'll quickly grab this stuff here, and I'll show you what exactly that code is meant by. So I'll quickly make this shift this one to the top, this imports there, and then I don't want these finally, and I don't want these drivers, stuff like that, because we already have that. Now I'll quickly refactor these stuffs so that you'll find it very comfortable. I mean, I'll explain each and every step in a moment. Let me quickly refactor that. So I'm just making this xpath in a separate variable there, just like that. I'll get rid of this one, and I'll make this one at the top. I'll quickly cut this one at the top, not here but here, just like that. Now I'll explain what it is. So we just refactored this into the separate variable search xpath, and now what this line of code does is it is search box is equal to WebDriver wait. So in order to implement that wait strategy, we have a class named WebDriver wait, which we have imported at the top, and of driver. Now this is not driver, this is actually browser in our case, because it is expecting this stuff here, browser. Okay, now the 10 is the seconds. Now 10 means it will at maximum it will wait for 10 seconds before the actual element is loaded, and after that it will give you error, right? Such that something like this one, timeout error, right? So you'll get to know what it is in a moment. Dot until, and so what it says is wait until this presence of element is located. So there is something called expected conditions, EC, which we have imported at the top again. So there are a lot of expected conditions, and one such expected condition is presence of element located, which means, as the name suggests, presence of that particular element is located. So what this line of code, this entire stuff does is, before that I'll quickly change this stuff to be xpath, because we are fetching by xpath, and the xpath is in the search xpath variable. So in every 500 milliseconds, so in here you can see in the documentation, in every 500 milliseconds, this wait will search for this particular element that we have specified here. So it will check for the presence of that element in every 500 millisecond until that 10-second mark is gone. So it will be checking for up to a maximum of 10 seconds in every 500 milliseconds interval. So if that is found, then this will be okay, this variable will be set. Otherwise, if it's not found, it will just give you some timeout error. So in our case, this is very important, because we don't know how much time we would spend with that scanning QR code and stuff like that. So it's very important to have this. And now this is not just 10 seconds, because it might take more than 10 seconds to load that QR code, that procedure. So I'll say an arbitrary value of 500. So wait for 500 seconds at the maximum. And now this will not be the actual case, it will be like 10 or 20 seconds, it will be complete. But in order to avoid the error, we'll just say an arbitrary value of 500, just like that. And so this one, what it'll do is it'll search for that search box. If it is there in every 500 milliseconds, it will not give you any errors. So upon scanning that QR code, then it will fetch that element and will get that element back in search box. Now we can just send keys that group, just like this one, right? So it'll work just perfectly fine. Now let me quickly run this stuff here so I can see that in action. So I'll just quickly get rid of all the tabs here, and I'll quickly run the code again. So it opened that stuff, web.whatsapp.com. Let me quickly scan that stuff. So yeah, it got, now test group 1 is there, but only we see that first group, because we have 3 groups, right? It only shows the first group. Now that's because there's the error Chrome driver only supports characters in BMP. That's because of these emojis. Send keys would not accept those emojis as characters. That's why these errors. So in order to curb this problem, we have another concept like we'll not send keys directly, but instead what we'll do is we'll just copy this group name and we'll just paste that in here. So the copy paste syntax, not sending those group names directly into the send keys, but we'll use that copy paste strategy. So for that, what I meant by that is I'll install a package very quickly, pip install pyperclip. So pyper clip, pyperclip, just like this one. If you're a Windows user, just pip is required and click enter. So in my case, requirement already satisfied. So this is a library or a package that will give you the ability to copy and paste to the clipboard, right? So I'll show you how to use that. So I'll say import pyperclip, just like that. And at the bottom, in order to we'll not be sending keys directly, but what we'll do is first we want to copy that that group name, right? So I'll say pyperclip dot copy, and we'll copy that group. So group is this variable here, so we'll copy that group name, and now we need to paste that in this field, right? We need to paste that in the test group 1 in the search box field. So for that we can just say like search box dot send keys. Now instead of sending that, what we can do is we can use keyboard actions like Control V keys, right? The keyboard keys. So if you're a Windows user, it will be Control V. If you're a Mac user, it is Command V. But Windows users can use Control V, but for Mac users, the Command V would not work for legacy reasons. I don't know why. It still doesn't give that support for Command V. Instead, what you can use is Shift Insert as an alternative, which will work exactly correct. So for Mac users, what you can do is keys dot shift, just like that, comma keys dot insert, just like this one. So we're sending these 2 keys, right? So which means it will paste whatever we copied here. That's the idea. If you're a Windows user, it will be like keys dot control plus this V, just like this, plus V will give you that Control V, and it will paste that stuff. Now control, I believe it is full caps, all caps, but before using all these key stuff, we need to import that at the top. So in order to import that keys, it is, I believe, from selenium.webdriver.common.keys, import that keys module here, just like that, a keys class to be precise. So just like that. Now you'll have that auto completion, I believe. So keys dot shift, yes, we have, and we have that keys dot insert, just like that. Also we will have that keys dot control. So if I get rid of that command, we'll have that. Yeah, we do have that. So Windows users can use this keys dot control, Mac users can use this one. So it'll just paste that stuff. Now if I run the code again, you will see the output very precisely. Python 3 -a-main.py. Quickly I will scan this. Now remember, we don't have any errors, everything is perfect. And what do you know, we got that test group 1, test 2, and test 3. Now it all happens in one line because we haven't cleared that stuff after pasting first group and second group and so on. So what you can do is I'll just say search box dot clear. After searching, just clear that stuff, or maybe at the top we can do that before copying that stuff and so on. What I can do is I'll quickly say like search box dot clear, so it'll clear any input that was previously in there. So we got that. Now we have access to, so I'll quickly get rid of all the other stuffs and just the test group 1, and it will give you some output like this one. It will show you that group name here. Now we need to click on this group name, right? So in my case, I only have this one output here because there are not much groups has similar names and stuff. So I need to grab this group here. So for that, as usual, we'll just say like inspect element. So I'll say Command Shift C or Command Shift I for Windows, and I'll just say like I have selected the selector there. I'll quickly go into the test group one, and you can see that it's a span with a class of something. So we also at the top level we have one more span which has some cool things, and well, you can see something like span with the title of that group, right? So this is what we want to target at next. We want to target that a span that has title of that group name. So just fetch that, and by now you know how to fetch that using an xpath. So it's another quick challenge. Just grab that, and I'll show you my way in a second. Just give it a try. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just say like that stuff. I mean a variable name, maybe I'll say group title. So group title is equal to, but before that I'll fetch that xpath. I'll make an xpath there. So group xpath is equal to, and the xpath double slash at the beginning, it's a span, and it has a title is equal to, and the title is equal to, herein we need that title, right? So the title is nothing but the group name, whatever this is, the group name. So in order to have the dynamic content, I'll use f string. So f at the beginning, and here in I can use dynamic content, double curly braces. I can say like group, just like that. So it'll work just fine. Now we have that xpath. Now group title is equal to, in this case I'll maybe I'll use the regular one without that WebDriver weight and stuff like that. Find element by xpath, and the xpath is this group xpath, just like that. So what you can actually do is we can test this out maybe in the interactive shell, but we'll do that in a separate manner. So assume that we got that group there, we got this span item here. Now what we are going to be doing is just clicking that item. So group title dot click, just like that. Okay, so we clicked that, so we're mimicking the action. We just click that. Now we need to find this one, this here, this input message input. So it is again a div with a class of something and stuff like that. Again, we saw that content type, content editable, and data tab. So once again, a quick challenge. Just grab that using xpath as your task. Give it a try, give it a shot, much like this one. We have already done that stuff, so give it a shot. Hope you managed to do that stuff. So what I'll do is I'll just say input box is equal to, what I'll do is but before that I'll make an input xpath is equal to not in f strings, but it's not dynamic as it is in here. It's just a pure one. So double slash, it is a div with that let me check, content editable true, data tab is equal to 1. So I'll quickly paste the other stuff, this stuff here. It's almost similar, so copy that and back into here, paste that, and content editable is true, data tab is equal to 1, just like that. Now I can just fetch browser dot find element by xpath and the input xpath, just like that. So we found that stuff, and now we need to send the keys, right? We found this one here. Now we need to send those keys, send that message. Now again, I'll use that paperclip copy syntax because otherwise if there is an emoji then it will be an issue there. So what I'll do is I'll just say paperclip.copy, and the copy is nothing but we are copying the message here that we have fetched from the file. So paperclip copy msg, and then we need to send keys. Send keys is the same stuff. I'll copy this one and paste that in, but it's not search box, it's input box, just like that. And now the only thing I can do is just clicking on enter. So upon typing, you can either click on this icon here or you can just type in enter, right? So I'll use the enter approach. So what I can do is we'll also say like input box dot send underscore keys, and we need to send keys dot enter, just like that. I mean, there is enter, I believe it's not giving me that auto completion there, still loading. Let's get rid of that. I'll quickly say enter there. I mean, it should have given that, but either way, we just passed in keys.enter, so it'll just click that enter button and it will do the trick. And yeah, with that, everything would be perfect. And I'll give some sleeps in between. So after fetching this one, maybe I'll give time.sleep of 1, and after fetching or after sending that search query, I'll give a sleep of maybe 2, and then group click and stuff like that. Yeah, before that, I'll give a time.sleep of 1 second maybe, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll give a time.sleep of 2 again here at the bottom, just like that. I believe I have it imported, that time module at the top, so I'll just say import time, just like that. And with that, if we run the code, I'll just exit, and if we run the code again and it opens that, and I'll just quickly scan the QR code and search that and click that, send those message and back into here. Yeah, it's totally working. Test 2, send those message, and then it will go to that test tree and it'll click that and it'll send that message, and what do you know, everything is working perfectly fine. So we have successfully completed that stuff of sending bulk messages to groups. It's totally working fine, and we are good to go. And yeah, this is what it is in a glance. Just 53 lines of code, and without the spaces it will be much lesser. And this is the end of this video, and in the next video we'll be talking about the attachment, sending an image along with the content and some refactoring as well. And the third video will talk about that. We'll get rid of that QR code scanning as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any doubts or suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. And if you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe my channel and click the bell icon near to it. So yeah, that's it guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the very next one.